I used to play Perfect Dark a lot on N64, and I played it a lot on an emulator. Don't tell Nintendo. Great game, but getting a new game series. I don't know anything about it, but apparently it's bad. From Melanie Mac, go boom. Perfect Dark Developers says gamers were a mistake. Every time with these guys, man. Every time. When will they learn that if you are shitting on the gamers, they're not going to buy your game?
So Crystal Dynamics have ruined Lara Croft and changed the iconic, bombshell, independent, sociopathic tomb robber into the meek, scared, nerfed, and now manly looking artifact protector. So not only that, but they were brought on board for the next Perfect Dark game, which I don't know how many of y'all know this, but yes, Crystal Dynamics were brought on board for that. And that's why the next Perfect Dark looks like absolute dookie. So let's go ahead and talk about this, as we have a developer for Crystal Dynamics who is also a Perfect Dark level designer, and he says gamers were a mistake. So he's attacking gamers. He says we are racist pigs for opposing race swaps. Colby Payne.
Dude, I'm so tired of it. Just make the characters like the characters were supposed to be. Like the original art was supposed to be. It's so dumb. Why? I mean, in some instances, I guess it could be okay. Like, I wouldn't mind a black James Bond, because that could make sense, because James Bond is a different guy a lot. And it's supposed to be a different guy. Or I don't know if it's explicitly said that it's a different guy, but I think they have said it. Stuff like that, I just don't care about. But if the character is a specific way, they need to stay that way. Why change it? Because you hate the original art? That's why. You think you could do better? That's why. And so far, it has shown that no. Most of them cannot do better. And it's just virtue signaling. And I hate it. It's gross.
A level designer at Crystal Dynamics who's working on Perfect Dark seemingly does not like gamers. Says they were a mistake and attacked those. Dude, you're making video games, but gamers were a mistake. So for the last 2 years, I've been working on Perfect Dark. So excited to show off our gameplay reveal. Now, I made it just... Okay, hold on. I just quote tweeted this before making this video. And I said, I've been saying it was Crystal Dynamics who ruined Joanna Dark. They ruined Lara Croft, and they were brought on to ruin Joe, too. If y'all somehow still have hope for the next mainline Tomb Raider game, all I can do is laugh. The only good things lately are the remasters, which Crystal Dynamics did not make. Now, I know some people can argue and say, hey, this is a level designer, so he didn't ruin Joanna Dark, but it was Crystal Dynamics.
I don't care. I don't care if he's a level designer. If you got people in your company saying stuff like that out loud, get rid of them. You don't need them. That shit's toxic.
Who are brought on, and I'm telling you, the culture at Crystal Dynamics is on par with what he is saying. I'm not going to say every single employee there, obviously, is woke, but I'm telling you, that is the culture at Crystal Dynamics as a studio. And that's why, like, a lot of people are seeing the abominations that were the Netflix Tomb Raider animation, for example, which had that masculine, lesbianized butch Lara Croft, and who isn't even a Tomb Raider anymore, doesn't steal artifacts anymore. She's a protector of artifacts now. She cries all the time. When Lara Croft wasn't created like that. Also, and obviously the physical nerfs, they continually make her more and more masculine. And some people think, well, that was Netflix that did that, not Crystal Dynamics. And a lot of that was Crystal Dynamics. I've been trying to tell you guys, but I feel like I'm yelling into the void. Now, some of y'all get it. Those who are like hardcore into the community, y'all know the power that Crystal Dynamics has had over the Tomb Raider franchise. A lot of people think that Square Enix was at fault when it came to the remasters. They were like, oh, thank goodness Square Enix is gone. Now Tomb Raider will be good again. But Square Enix just gave Crystal Dynamics free reign to do whatever they wanted. Square Enix didn't really have a whole lot of of restrictions on Crystal Dynamics. They just, like I said, they let Crystal Dynamics do whatever they wanted, and that's why we kept getting these issues. And so now,
I don't think Square Enix is like an actual real company that makes games. They're like a publishing company, right? They're just gonna follow trends to make them whatever makes them more money. And if this stuff isn't making them money, they're gonna cut it out. Unless they end up getting this same culture there. I don't know how it's going to Square Enix. Isn't it a Japanese company? Square Enix is a Japanese company, or are they French? I'm not sure. They're one of the two. They gotta be. I'm gonna look it up. What's the original country for Square Enix?
Japanese. According to...
Okay, they're Japan.
now with Embracer, who have bought Crystal Dynamics, and the Tomb Raider IP now is the mainline next game is being developed by Crystal Dynamics and it's going to be funded by Amazon. Amazon Games is doing this stuff. So, I mean, that's also a recipe that's not good. We've talked about the leaks, which I 1000% believe are true because of A, the sources, and B, it just lines up with everything. For example, the leaks that told us that they were going to make Lara Croft a lesbian, the leaks that I made so many videos about this, the leaks that were going to put an Indian girl in her place and have her take over Lara Croft, and so on and so forth. That same batch of leaks had the antagonist named Devereaux, and then the Netflix animation comes out and the antagonist is named Devereaux. That is not some John Smith type of name that it's a coincidence. So I 1000% believe these leaks. How many of those leaks will actually translate into the actual game? I don't know, but hold on. Let me see if I can find, there's a statue that the Tomb Raider account announced. Here it is. So there is this statue, and it's not necessarily egregious, but it's definitely not Lara Croft. And I do believe that this was modeled after what they have been working in progress for the next mainline game. And I don't know what's going on because they haven't revealed this game that they have been developing for 6 years, maybe even 7 years, and they have not shown anything, but it's just, oh yeah, it's definitely happening. It's definitely happening. Announcement coming soon, but that announcement hasn't happened. And so I do firmly believe that. And if you remember, that leaked, or not even leaked, they revealed, they posted an image of Lara Croft that they used for everything, of her standing, I unplugged my headphones, of her standing there like this, and it looks like a dude, looks like Leon Kennedy. I've made videos about it. You guys have probably seen it circulating everywhere, the image, not necessarily my video. And this looks,
yeah, they did like Untitifier a lot. Untitifier. That just kind of popped out of my head first thing. And she does have a super masculine face. Like, I'm not really attracted to this. It's weird. It looks weird. It looks weird to me. It looks like she's old, almost. Like she's an old liberal. You know?
looks very similar to that, which, as you can see by this image, that face looks very similar to that. Granted, on this statue, it does look a bit better. I'm not gonna say this face.
I think it looks better because it's more cartoonish, but like, that is super, like, that is super masculine. It's so weird. It's uncanny. It almost looks like Laura's trans. I don't like it. Not into it.
Face is as masculine as that statue, and the face is kind of cool looking at this.
I don't even want to agree with Melanie. I was looking at the statue and I was like, my man brain was like, I'd hit it, because I probably still would. But while I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this ain't like an 8 out of 10 situation. This is like 7 out of 10. And why would you make a 7 out of 10 woman if you're trying to make a 10 out of 10 game? I don't get it.
This angle, but it's just simply not Lara Croft. And the physique is so off. It's not Lara
That one looks
Croft.
all right.
It's just
In the
not.
face.
And I don't get the whole outfit design, the double straps, everything looks so costumey. This doesn't.
Yeah.
They tried to make this like unified Lara Croft, but instead we've got this weird hodgepodge cosplay, and we just don't have Lara Croft. Lara Croft is this tall, 5'9", curvy. I'm fine with some muscle on hers because she's rock climbing and stuff, but mostly in the legs. But she needs like some hip curve. She needs a small waist. She needs the big
titty.
bust. Like, that is her proportions. That's how she's created, and it's not perverted to want a character to look like how she was created. And in this case, we just don't have that. This is very bland. It's not as Troon looking as some of the other stuff we've seen, but it's definitely not Lara Croft. So I know I'm hijacking this video to talk a lot about Lara Croft and Tomb Raider right now, but just saying, I've got to give my conspiracy theories about this. Is I believe that this is what they have been working toward, and we haven't seen any announcements or anything about the next mainline game. Probably, I don't know why, but maybe because there is a little bit of fear about if it would tank and people would just laugh and make a joke out of it. Because Crystal Dynamics are on their last chance, essentially. We've seen Embracer fire a bunch of studios. I mean, look, that bust line is not Lara Croft. It's not. I don't care if you give this bust line to a new female character, even this whole body in general, it's not terrible, but it's not Lara Croft. So I'm just not, it's just frustrating. But anyway, Crystal Dynamics are on their last leg when it comes to, any Tomb Raider game they've made.
And another problem. Okay. I got a few bones to pick with this. That is a very tiny gun. This gun is tiny. Is it not? That is very tiny. She's kind of like holding it off to her side. That is tiny. And her face looks like they're trying to make her look like Cruella de Vil, who is like old. Why? It's so weird.
Made it barely struggled to break even, including the Legend and Anniversary and Underworld trilogy. Nothing they've made has reached expectations. The first game of the reboot trilogy did sell well, but it still didn't meet expectations because of the massive budgets that they put in it. So if this next game tanks, I could see Embracer firing Crystal Dynamics, which I personally think would save Tomb Raider, because right now Tomb Raider is in the hands of people like this. Again, not every person at Crystal Dynamics is woke, but I'll tell you, the culture at the company is very, very woke. Very woke. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if they're perhaps scared to announce anything because based on those leaks, unless they've changed stuff, that would tank so freaking bad. It would not do well. Already with the leaks, they had terrible.
Already, nobody knows what it is except for like older people, and we don't care about it that much. I already don't care about it, and even if it's good and it doesn't sell well, people still aren't gonna buy it. Like, I don't even know why this is even a remake. I mean, I get that it's cool that it's getting a remake, or even not a remake. I don't know if it's a sequel or what. Like, what is this game?
Reception, even from a bunch of the weirdos that have been supporting all this other crap. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I'm curious to know what you guys think and why they're waiting forever for this next announcement. Because like I said, this game has been in development for like 6 or 7 years now. At least 5. So what's the deal? Yeah, they won't announce anything, but they're like, oh, here's all these statues, here's all these like collaborations that they're putting Lara Croft in Dead by Daylight. They've got their reboot Lara in that, and then we've got her in this game, we've got her in that game, we've got that terrible, dreadful Call of Duty Lara Croft that looked like an abomination. So yeah. Anyway, Perfect Dark is cooked, ruined. The next Tomb Raider game, is not going to be good as well, assuming they even release it. A part of me wonders if they'll even release it.
Please don't. Please don't. Just no more. Just no more. If you're not gonna make a good game, just don't do it. Just leave it alone. The last trilogy, perfect place to leave it off. I mean, they could have been better. The first one was pretty good, but they could have been better. Just don't.
I think that if it wasn't for Amazon funding it and publishing it, I would think that Embracer would just cut the cord and fire Crystal Dynamics already. That's what I would think would be the case, because they don't need Crystal Dynamics. They have these remasters projects that have been developed by Saber and published by Aspyr, handed off to them. And those have been a massive success. We've got 4 through 6 coming out soon. They actually hired fans for those projects. So they're making something for the fans, and the fans are buying it. And it's making money. It's making a lot of money. It's a huge success, and it doesn't cost a massive budget to make those. So they don't need Crystal Dynamics, Crystal Dynamics, here's their thing, is they need, and I can expect to see this in the next Perfect Dark game as well. What we're going to see for the next Perfect Dark game, I can already tell you, is going to be a dramatic and emotional story. You're going to see Joanna Dark cry, and you're going to see it turn into an emotional story, instead of just, oh, here is this cool futuristic spy type girl and she's kicking butt. No, you're gonna see a dramatic story. You're gonna see her cry. You're gonna see her get broken down emotionally, and you're gonna see her look like a dude. That's it. And the gameplay is going to be, I mean, essentially, it's going to be centered around cutscenes. It's going to be centered around those overly emotional and dramatic cutscenes. That's the whole point of everything. The gameplay is going to be this hub where you can, it's not like quite open world, but it's kind of have open world elements. And you're going to have like collectibles, things like that. You're going to have stat points that you put on things that are completely unnecessary for the game in general. I don't see, this is what I anticipate. I mean, obviously I could be a little wrong, but this is what I anticipate for the next game. Just knowing the formula that Crystal Dynamics uses, and the only formula that they really know how to use, and they can't really venture that far from it. But I know at the very least it will be centered around a dramatic story, and we will be seeing Joanna Dark cry.
And guess what? I ain't gonna play it if that's the case, because I don't want no dramatic story from Perfect Dark. If I want, at this point, I'm just waiting for a new dramatic story. I don't want to play an old IP that you're gonna screw up. Just come up with something new. They're not gonna do it.
And yeah, so now we get an ugly Joanna Dark who cries instead of a cool and beautiful Joanna Dark who kicks butt. She might have her kick butt moments, but it's just going to be so uninspiring when it comes out of that dude looking model. And yeah. So anyway, there you have it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. As always, if you want me to read the Bible to you, you can check out my Bible channel at Bible Time with Melanie Mack. Thank you all again for watching. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.
So, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Just make new games. I don't get it. I don't get why they have to just keep putting this woke slop in everything. It's destroying everything. And they're doing it on purpose. I just don't understand it. Just make new things. But they have an agenda. They want to destroy our things that we like because they hate us and think that our culture should go away, and they want their culture to be dominant. But their culture sucks, and it's lame, and it's boring, and they don't know what beauty is. They don't know how to make a good-looking character. Even if they did, they're not going to do that because that sets beauty standards. And they don't want to do that. Even though nobody wants to look at an uggo woman that looks like a dude. Unless it's just like some side character that's supposed to be like that and over the top. But you know, oh well. I won't. I'm not gonna buy anything from Crystal Dynamics anytime soon.